You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Monday Night Live. I know it's been a long time, and to celebrate coming back into the swing of things, I have a great guest to grace your guys' presence this evening. We'll be doing another live stream later on this week, talking specifically about the Upper Potomac Bash. We had, I think it was like 2 or 3 kayak tournaments all merged on the Upper Potomac. River showed out, of course, as always. It's putting up weights that are Susquehanna level, which is amazing. I sucked for my own standards. I somehow fell into the top 10, was not thrilled with my performance, but that is what it is. We'll talk about that later this week. But since this guy, I don't want to keep him away. The man, the myth, the legend, this individual fished the Toyota Series on the Potomac River, showed that he doesn't always need the old scope. He can actually just do, as Todd told me a long time ago, caveman fishing. We have Matt McCluskey, who finished up with 41 pounds, 3 ounces, a 5th place finish at the old Toyota Series event on the home pond. Matt, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I was gonna say, it's quite the intro.
It keeps growing. I keep adding to it, which I need to get a new one going here soon.
No, it was good. I appreciate you. But
how you been?
I'm doing good, man. Life's been really good recently.
It's been a whirlwind because I feel like I've had you on every quarter of the year watching your journey from, I think I'm going to fish the Toyota Series, to completing each one and then finishing it off with the last one of the Northern Swing.
I almost quit after Champlain, so I'm glad we kept it going.
What was so frustrating about that?
I think it was just a big learning curve, having to travel so far. Just trying to figure out that place by myself. I got a little stubborn. Practice was kind of all over the place. I didn't do what I ended up doing at the St. Lawrence, which was focusing 70 to 80% of my practice in the one section that historically was good. I mean, you don't want to follow dock talk, but it was kind of like the inland sea is where the big smallmouth live. And I didn't focus my whole time there. And stupidly, I found one place that had like 500 3+ pound smallmouth, and I didn't start there on day one. I wanted to go to the one place that actually it was easy to get a bite for me. They weren't giant ones, but the water dropped a foot or two, and they were all shallow fish and like that northern cabbage. And then day 2, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go to that spot. And luckily I got on it because it was one of those like blow through community holes. There's like 5 boats sitting on it, and I caught 2 almost 4-pounders in the morning. I was like, well, that's stupid of me not to start here on day 1, but yeah, it was a little overwhelming, honestly. Just, it was a big body of water that I'd never been to, and I'd never fished for northern smallmouth. So
we could do a whole show on those fuckers because they are a fickly thing. They really are.
Yeah, they're fun though.
Oh God, yeah. No, dude, I would rather chase them than green ones for sure. And it's interesting when you mention the obvious versus trying to outthink the room. And it kind of does segue into the Potomac at some point in the conversation, because you have the obvious stuff that you can do that everyone has done in the history forever. And you kind of at Champlain tried to outthink the room. As you progressed to the St. Lawrence, and then we're going to get to the Potomac, did you change your thinking or your thought process up at all?
For St. Lawrence, definitely. I mean, it's well known that the big fish live down closer to the lake. And there's a cutoff for Toyota Series. It's like Cape St. Vincent or something like that. It's like right at the mouth of the lake. So it's 80 to 85 miles to the farthest you can run from Messina. So I spent most of my time around Clayton, which is, I think it's like 70 miles from Messina or something like that. So, and we caught good ones, and I caught good ones in the river too, but it just didn't seem like I could catch them as consistently as I did down in Clayton. But I mean, it just kind of wisened me up to keep it local, or not local, but like keep it in one area for practice instead of running all over the place. And my 4 days or whatever of practice, instead of one day I'm going to be in this section, one day I'll be in this section, one day I'll be in this section, it was spend 2 to 3 days in one section and just fish every inch of it. And even if you don't catch fish on it, if you find a certain pattern or an area that's holding them, it's like you can fall back on places that you find that I didn't even catch fish on, which is what ended up happening in St. Lawrence.
That's important. Guys, you should probably make a note of that. That's absolute juice there. Because I think that's what it comes down to always. With all the conversation I had, it is decision making, not just execution. Because at some point, when we're talking Toyota Series, you can execute. That's easy. Everyone knows how to flip a damn jig at a Toyota Series. It's about the decision making process. And great showing at the St. Lawrence. And it comes back to the main event, which is your home pond on the Potomac. And I know you have a love-hate relationship with that place.
I do. Now, I was blessed with the opportunity. My job lets me take time off and fish and whatnot, but we had the BFL, the super tournament for the Shenandoah division, and I was sitting in second place, and my travel partner, Brody, was sitting in first. So I got to practice the week prior to the BFL and then just rolled that into the Toyota Series practice. So I really had gotten about a week and a half's worth of practice on the river before that tournament. But I mean, I definitely learned a lot about the Potomac in the last 2 weeks. It was kind of the same concept as like, don't spread yourself out too much, break down an area. I was a lot more patient than I normally am out there, because I was like, if I do what I normally do and just run around, I'm going to screw myself. And if I catch 10 pounds, I'll be lucky. So I felt like I was smarter about it than I normally am fishing those tournaments.
When you have that much practice, and I remember when I was unemployed in college and we decided for the regional championship in college, like we were literally going to fish the whole Chesapeake Bay. And we started at the middle river and fished every single creek for a month and a half all the way up. That was retarded. It was way too much, because it's like at that point, it's like there are multiple good spots. It's overload. Were you going to try to pre-fish the whole Potomac or kind of narrow it down?
I kind of planned on staying mid-river. I spent 2 days down south just because traditionally down south you can catch a bigger bag, but it seems to be a little bit more finicky. But I was like, if I can go down here one day and use it for the next day 2 morning or something like that and get a couple of good bites. But I didn't catch anything down there. I mean, I had one day pretty far from the marina where I had like 13 pounds, but it was on a tide that we weren't going to get in the tournament. So I kind of scrapped that whole plan. And for the BFL, which we haven't talked about that as well, I found one little stretch on the main river I could get some bites on, fish that in the morning, never got a bite. And luckily, the one mat that I found that I felt good about, I had 2 mats. So the first one I went to, I flipped up like almost 3-pounder first thing in the morning. I'm like, okay, sweet. Like it was 5 minutes into flipping, and you're like, okay, I can just grind this out for 2 hours. I'm going to catch another couple of decent ones. Fished it for another hour and a half, didn't even get bit. After that, I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. And luckily, I went into this creek, and I'd found a mat in practice where I caught 2 good ones and shook 2 more off. And a guy had just left the section of the creek, like it kind of forks off, and he was going up the left arm, and he was like 100 yards into it. And I was like, let me just slide in here. And then the day one, I ended up mat flipping like 12 and almost 13 pounds and lost another good one that would have put me a little bit into the top 10 going into day 2. But day 2, Aaron Dixon is river hammer. He's been winning and top 3ing every tournament out there all year. He beat me to it because he was a higher boat number. And when I left Mattawam, I could see the freaking boat wash coming off of his motor from across the river. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to go right back there and get to it. And I just kind of peeled off and went into this marina once I saw that he was back in the creek, and immediately just started catching fish. And I think I had 12.5 pounds or something like that. I had one that was like almost 4 pounds and some 2.5 pounders, whatever it was. But, and then for the Toyota, I caught him in a completely different area. Like I found a mat that I didn't even catch a fish in. I went practicing with my buddy Rick German and found on Tuesday, and ended up finding what I used for the whole Toyota basically. And the main mat that I caught most of my weight out of, the main mat, I didn't even catch one in. I just saw him move. Like I just was going down fishing the mat, and I just flipped my bait in there and just saw some movement. and I ended up going there after I had a limit on day one, fishing just like boat docks and isolated stuff, and flipped up most of my weight and had like almost 14 pounds, 13, 11 or something like that on day one. But sorry, I kind of got sidetracked there. What was your question?
No, you're good, dude. You're good. We're gonna go real high level here. So some of you guys that are listening might like this, might hate it, but we're gonna start here. What is mat fishing, and when you're dealing, what are you looking for in a mat? I guess let's go super basic.
I mean, I'm no expert at it by any means. Like the past 2 weeks on the river was the best mat fishing I've ever had on the river. Like I've always tried to do it. Like ounce and a half weight, ounce and 3/4 weight, 2 ounce, whatever you do. Like you see this cheesy looking mat or just hydrilla that's just choked out everywhere, and you just flip it. And I just haven't had a ton of success doing it. But the one thing I found was, instead of like the couple mile, or not even mile, like hundreds of yards of mats, it was like I couldn't get bit in that. But when I would find like a little isolated one that was like, I don't know, 20 to 30 yards, 50 yards, whatever you want to call it, long, and it was isolated, that's where I could get my bites. It didn't even really seem to matter like what it was made up of, because the hydrilla, it's all hydrilla at this point. But it was either like a creek edge or just a blown in mat. It just didn't really, like, it all looked different. It was like a different stage of the hydrilla's life in a way, where it was like dying. Some of it was dying off more than the other. Like it just seemed like when it was isolated was when I got bit. But you're really looking for like a canopy. Like you don't want to just choked out a hydrilla mat. It seems it's like you want to, when you could see the edge of the mat or whatever, or like see in the holes in the mat, when you could see that there's like a canopy underneath it, seemed to be the best.
So when you're talking size wise, are you talking the difference between like a football field versus the grass on an infield baseball diamond? Like you want something a lot more manageable?
Mm-hmm, exactly. And it's hard because, I mean, I found a bunch of that where it was the size of, like you said, the infield on a baseball diamond, and it was completely empty. And there'd be mats that I found that were that size that were like, you could hear the bluegill popping up underneath them. And it was like, oh, this is perfect. There's a canopy and never get a bite in multiple different tides. So they were very picky on what they wanted to be in.
How long in practice do you give a mat? Because especially on like the Upper Bay right now, I had talked to somebody, like there's grass everywhere, there's mats everywhere. How much time do you tell yourself to spend before you're like, I got to move? Do you just throw a frog real quick, get a blow up, mark it and move on? Or like, how do you time management that?
My problem with the frog, I just don't get bit on a frog in the mats. I don't understand it, dude.
Really?
Like, I've tried all the colors, doing whatever you can to get them to bite in the mat, and I just can't catch them on it. I had a couple of blow ups on it, but it baffles me. I don't know. Everybody's like, oh, I was crushing them on a frog today. I'm like, well, I suck. But I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, like I said before the tournament, I didn't even get bit in the main mat that I found, that I caught most of my weight on day one. Day two, I didn't catch any out of it. I didn't get a single bite mat flipping on day two. But on, like, I just saw 2 fish move, and I was just in the area where I found it after I'd fished my 2 main like dock spots and wood spots, and I ran over there, and the guy actually leading the tournament after day 2, Chad Mrazek, he was fishing kind of hidden where I couldn't see him, and I came around this corner and he was fishing like a different side of where I was fishing, and he saw me, and he throws his troll motor on 100 and goes to the mat. And there was 2 mats. So I went to the one, I was like, okay, well, you can have that one. I'll go to the left, the other one over here to the left. And he fished it for like 5 minutes, and then he left. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go over here because that's where I saw the fish. And after he had left, I went through there and started catching them really good. But I talked to him on day 3, and he actually did not end up catching any of his fish out of there, but it was obvious there was fish in there. This is another way you can tell if there's a hole, if you can see frog lines on the mat, and then there's a hole, and then the frog line gets about 4 times the size, somebody dragged fish out of it. So that kind of can tell you that there's some fish in there too. But
does that dissuade you from fishing it, or does that encourage you to fish it if you see a lot of frog lines on a mat?
If there's blow up holes in it, definitely will get me to lock in and fish it a little bit. But if there's frog lines and no blow up holes, maybe there's no fish in there, or maybe the person who just came and frogged it fished it on the wrong tide. But I mean, there was in practice there was no blow up holes on it when I found it on Tuesday. But the first day of the tournament, when I went back there, somebody had clearly caught fish out of it, but nobody was fishing it. Like there was one other boat that came in and tried to fish it. Maybe it was that guy. But days 2 and 3, I never saw anybody fishing it.
In practice, do you go with like a screw lock and a weight and just not even try to stick them, or like how do you approach that with mat fishing?
You can just shake them off. I'm too lazy to do all that. Just like, okay, it's pretty obvious when one gets it. Obviously, I mean, it's braided line, and you flip in there, you can feel them tag it, or you just pick up and they have it. But I won't shake all of them off. Like the first bite, if I got in a mat, I was definitely setting the hook because you kind of want to see what the quality looks like, because it's kind of like, it seems like they're all cookie cutter the same size, whether they're 3 pounds or 2 pounds. It's like when you find a mat or even an area on the Potomac, it's like they're all the same size for the most part. But definitely try to shake off as many. Scope, what do you want to talk about?
Do you turn it off when you're fishing that shallow in grass because of the whole, I know there's a superstition with some guys, like turn off all the electronics when you're doing pads and stuff, or do you keep it on and utilize it? Where do you kind of run in that?
I pause the sonar.
Okay.
So I'm not like turning it off. And honestly, I didn't even know if this gets it to stop clicking. I assumed it did, but I should have checked it and like pulled the troll motor out of the water and hit pause and just see if it stops the clicking. But I thought it did. So when I would go fish the mat, I would pause it just to keep the clicking off. I mean, there was on day 1, I don't even think I paused it. And that's when I caught most of my mat flipping fish on the main mat. But on day 2 and 3, when I was in there, I was pausing it when I was flipping it. So
yeah, I don't know how much that's true, but I know like half the guys I talk to about that swear by turning all the shit off in their boat, and then the other half thinks it doesn't matter. So I don't know. And you can allegedly use it to look underneath mats too, but I think that depends also on the tide swing and stuff.
I think you definitely can, but I mean, even looking underneath it, it's going to be hard to see them because it's not like it's all straight canopy. Like there's strings of hydrilla hanging down, or if it's a mat that's actually connected to the bottom, like it's going to be useless.
And then guys, get your questions put in either Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Type up your questions. Best 2 questions I'll select at the end of the show. They will win a gift card to Jake's Bait and Tackle. Setup wise, what's your punching setup?
I actually used a rod I'd never caught a fish punching with. I just ordered a new Shimano 7.7 heavy. I was like, this might work, and I got to use it. I got it the Wednesday before the tournament. And actually, no, I got it before the BFL. I'm sorry. But I used it on Friday before the BFL and caught one punching with it. I was like, oh, that felt good. And I used it for the whole tournament. I didn't lose a single fish. It's just a 7.7 heavy. I will say it was probably a little light to manage, 1.5 ounces. I would go with like a 7.7 extra heavy maybe. But I was having to work pretty hard flipping and stuff. I mean, it was fine, whatever. It wasn't that bad, but I would definitely recommend a little bit heavier rod just so you can manage the weight a little bit easier. But it was pretty, not super parabolic, but it was parabolic enough where like when I would hit one, I felt like I wasn't pulling it out of their mouth because I was flipping with a 7.6 extra heavy Dobbins and before the BFL started, and I was like, I'm just ripping it out of their face. Like even if I did catch them, it was like in the corner of their mouth or like just like skin hooked on the edge. It was just like there's no bend in the rod to keep it from the 1.5 ounce weight blowing their mouth open. But I don't know if that made a big difference or not, but I really liked it. I had zero issue the whole tournament with it.
What type of tip did it have? Did it have an extra fast, moderate?
I think it was just a fast tip. It was just a 7.7 heavy X Bride. That was all it was. But okay. I think it was just a fast tip. But
yeah, I've been experimenting with my stuff for like at least pad fishing, going with an extra fast tip too to give a little bit more cushion there with that. But I'm not dealing with an 1.5 ounce or a 2 ounce freaking bullet that you're throwing. Like, did you go up to a 2 ounce or was 1.5 ounces your max?
1.5 ounces seemed to be good enough. I mean, I wish I had experimented a little bit more just with the faster fall because it's pure reaction. Like 90% of the bites I got, it was either I felt it on the first pump or I didn't feel it. And as soon as I picked up on it, they were on it. Like they're catching it when it goes through the mat. So I feel like the faster it falls through, maybe it's better. But 1.5 ounces was getting through the mat every time for me. So
What do you do the whole straight shank snail knot thing, or do you kind of experiment?
All straight shank 5/0 owner beast hook with snell in it.
There you go. And guys, full disclosure, I hate that. I go with a screw lock hook. So do what he does, not me. I do a screw lock. I haven't lost a fish yet because I keep more baits. Like I don't go through as many baits with that. And I feel like it gets through the stuff cleaner. But
I mean, if it works, dude, it works, dude. Like it's just personal preference. That's just how I like to do it.
I haven't been screwed yet. Let's just say that. I think if I have a major mess up, I'll go back to what's been working. But I just get so pissed off and annoyed when you go through 3 or 4 packs of beavers or crawls or whatever. It can get expensive as hell real quick.
Yeah, I definitely can. I was going through quite a few beaver reaction and invasions beavers this week, but it's all good.
So bait wise, yeah, I mean, same with that. So reaction invasion, is that the bait that you were throwing?
Yeah, it was just all sweet beaver and just 2 different colors in the sweet beaver. But I wish I had tried the spicy beaver. Just get a little bit more kick on it. Maybe try the small one. They got a 3-inch that's might have been able to get me a few more bites, but next time.
Gear ratio. You going with 10, 9, 7 braid line?
8.5 to 1. Just a
8.5 to 1.
150 size Shimano. Just a 150 Corrado XG.
Ooh, spicy. I like that. I got another question here from Young and Wacky. What size line were you throwing, Matt?
50. But I did. This was kind of my own doing. I'd been throwing the braid that I had on that rod for a couple months, and with as much money was on the line in that tournament, I know people were like, "Oh, it's braid. You don't have to worry about it." I did snap off a significant fish with about 45 minutes left, mat flipping. So I don't know if it was the pound test, if I should have had 65 on, but I've been good with 50 normally. But 50 is pretty much what I throw. I don't throw any 65 for the frog or the flipping stuff. So.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get to some of your questions now because if I don't, we're gonna get so freaking backed up. We'll never get out of here. Oh, let's see. Where is it? We got Paul Whitney. You gonna talk about this right before the championship? Absolutely. Let's see. Championship? I have no idea what championship he's talking about, but it's the Potomac River.
Oh, the classic. I mean, it's It's fine.
What is he talking about?
He might be talking about the Potomac team's championship. I don't
know. Gotcha. Yeah, sorry, Paul. There's so many tournaments on the Potomac, it's hard to keep up. Let's see. Mark Seal, wood has been key for me. Now, Mark, are you talking about smallmouth in the upper, or are you talking about the tidal portion? Because I know my group here is kind of split smallies versus largemouth.
Wood was key for me, though, in the tournament. Just I found a few isolated things that on day 2, like I said, I never got a bite mat flipping, and it's super finicky, it seems. But on day 2, it was literally all hard structure. I caught every single one of them on a drop shot.
It is crazy the almost religious split there is with tidal guys of grass versus hardcover, because it feels like with the Potomac specifically, because it's such a grass fishery compared to the James, you have that hardcore set that it's all grass. But then you'll have guys come in from Ohio that hate grass and they just run hard crap and they do well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to Emil Wagner, a guy who just won the EQ. We were sitting at the tanks and he was like, dude, every time I come here, I try and do the grass thing and it never works. And then I go fish hardcover and catch them. It's like, it's hardcover for me in the summertime is really hard because there's usually just so much grass that the fish are in the grass 90% of the time. But it seemed like there just hasn't been as much grass on the river and it was dying during the tournament. So the hardcover seemed to play a big role in a lot of people's finishes.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Let's see. You got Matt here. Thomas, 2 pour to flip mats. I am jobless, dude. You know that. So, yeah, I got to save every penny possible. Faith and tackle. Do you feel not trying had anything to do with it breaking off? Do you feel
100%.
Like retrying? Okay.
100%. I had been flipping so much all day that it was stupid of me. Just got locked in and wasn't really thinking like maybe I should take 2 2 minutes and retie this. It was stupid, but yeah, absolutely. If I had retied it, I don't think it would have been a problem. Because I mean, there's not much of it that's going in and out of the mat, and I know it's just grass, but I mean, it's still going in and out of something where it could possibly nick it up. I don't know, but yeah, definitely retying could have made me a few more dollars.
And this is good for chat. How heavy is too heavy? Have you ever seen some psychopath throw like 100-pound braid or anything crazy like that?
I don't think you can throw 80-pound if you wanted to, probably. I mean, I don't think they're looking at it. It's just, like I said, it's such reaction that it's like, it goes in and they're like, oh, there it is. And then they just go over and grab it real quick. So I don't know. 80 could have been fine, but I like 50 because it's easy to manage.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a real big one. We got another question here on Instagram. What type of hook were you using?
2-aught cover shot for the drop shot, and then a 5-aught owner beast hook for the mat flipping.
Owner beast. Okay, nice. And you mentioned the hardcover stuff as well. Was that a timing deal? Was that a secondary pattern to the mat flipping, or was that the primary and the mat flipping was backup?
I wouldn't call it backup, but the hardcover seemed to be like it was easier for me to get a bite. I probably caught 20 fish every day just on drop shot on the docks and stuff. But with the multi-day tournament, it seemed like I was able to day one hit it on this tide. Day two, I'm like, okay, the tide was about to go dead when I hit this dock and caught some fish off of it. I'll hit it a little bit earlier. So the timing was kind of key on it. Like I just kind of got to learn throughout the event which pieces of hard structure were better on certain tides. So I definitely had tried to time it up as best as I could. I mean, I don't know if I hit them on the best tide for those particular spots, but.
And guys, I'll get back to all your questions. Just so settle down.
Just keep them rolling.
During this event, did you ever have a feeling of like you were doing a thing? Like, did you because the way it's a 3-day event, or it's a multi-day event, each day you're hanging in there. Were you able to block all that crap out that, oh crap, I'm in the top 10. I'm doing extremely well.
Day two, I had 9.5 pounds at 2:30 and had to be back at 3:30. And I ran to Mattawoman at the end of the day because I was like, oh my gosh, I just got to go catch some retreads or something around the ramp or do something just to get a decent finish. Because my goal at this point was just to make the championship in Oklahoma, just Toyota Series championship. And I'm like, okay, I got almost 10 pounds. I just needed like a 40 or 50th place finish after St. Lawrence to like mathematically be in. So I ran back there and it was at like 1:30, 2 o'clock. I was like, we got to go back to the main area. It's like, I know there's fish there. And I went back to where the mat was, and like 50 yards away from the mat, there was a stick that was like this big around. And on day one, I was throwing my swimming worm just along the hydrilla that was near the stick. And I coincidentally just looked down at the live scope at my swimming worm, and there was 2 nice fish that were chasing the swimming worm off of the stick. So I ran back, fished the mat for 20 or 30 minutes. I went over that stick and I made one cast with a drop shot, caught a 3.5 pounder. And then after that, I was like, oh my God, I got to go fish every piece of isolated wood I know of in this area. And I just bounced around. And on Wednesday of practice, I ran over to Leesylvania to grab some baits for my buddy. And I launched in Smallwood because we stayed over there. And I looked down at the gas gauge, and I didn't put gas in the boat after the previous day. And I thought, when I left, I was like, I got half a tank. I'm just going to go run one spot, and then I'm going to come back and stay in Mattawoman for the rest of the day. And I looked down when I left Leesylvania. I had a quarter tank, and there was like 2 to 3 footers out there. I was like, screw this. I'm going back to Mattawoman. And I got into this one little area that I caught some mat flipping fish before. There was a small mat and whatever. And I came down really far away because I was afraid I was going to hit something because it was kind of a low tide. And as soon as I came down, I looked at the side scan and there was like 2 stumps and a little bit of like sticky stuff. And I just marked it, turned around, threw a drop shot in there and got bit, and I shook the fish off. I was like, that's cool. But back to day 2, I caught that 3.5 pounder, ran around, fished some isolated wood and stuff, didn't catch anything. And I got back to that stump with like 5 to 10 minutes left or whatever, and I put the trolling motor in the water, power pulled down, and made one cast, and I caught a 4 pounder, and that put me into the top 10. So once I caught that fish, like you asked if I felt like I was doing something, I was like, oh my God, I might be way up there. I knew I'd be fishing the second day after I caught the 3.5, or the third day, but when I caught that fish, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the top 10 probably.
And your mindset, I've had so many people on this show that have the same thing where it's like, hey, when I ask them, are you swinging for the fence? Like, no, I was just trying to stay good in points or like just do well. And all of a sudden they're in the top 3. And if you were just swinging for the fence, do you make that call to go back to Mattawoman early?
I mean, I never felt like I was on those 4-pounders, like even 3+ pounders, like consistently. So there was really no swinging for the fence. Honestly, it was just like I'm fishing by the seat of my pants, just kind of not rush myself through these areas, and it just kind of worked out.
Drop shot wise, then guys, we'll get back to your questions here. How light do you go in a tidal situation? Do you crank up the size of your leader material just to be able to deal with them in that nasty stuff?
I was throwing 10-pounder Braze X.
You got guts. Good God.
I've really never had problems with it, and it goes back to the retying thing. It's like I did break a, I don't know exactly how big the fish was, but it was on one of my big fish places where I'd caught a couple of 2.5 pounders. I mean, that's a big one, for a decent one for the tournament because it was so tough. But I broke one off that I think was a pretty decent one because I hadn't retied right after I caught the 3.5 pounder, and I started running and gunning. The last spot I hit that was in that area, I threw the drop shot in there and fish just shoots right down to it. I saw him on the scope. I could tell it was a good one, but reeled down and it goes zzz, and just pops immediately. Didn't even get me wrapped in anything, but that was just a retying issue. But other than that, on the drop shot, I never broke one off, lost one. Even on day 3, I'd seen this little piece of structure that was off of the bank. I don't know if it was a piece of metal or what it was, and it just looked good. It was just isolated. There was nothing else around it, just like 10, 15 feet off the bank. And on day 3, I fished the mat. My co-angler caught 2 on a frog, and then I worked down the bank, saw that piece of structure, and I threw the drop shot in there, and it was obviously metal. And as soon as I picked up on it, he was going with it, and I reeled down the set, and he just sat on it. And I didn't try and horse him or anything, and he just kind of worked himself out of it, and it was all metal, and I felt my line, and there wasn't even a nick in it. So.
Dude, it's like some of those things, like when it's your time, it's your time. Like, you could do everything right and shit doesn't work out, and you can F it up 3 ways to Sunday and you still land in gold. So, some of that you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I know I've been holding this off for a while. Here we go. Let's get back into the comments. We got Faith and Tackle. It happens to us all, but in your spot down to 45 minutes, I can fully get it. We got him again. Guys, if you didn't catch the support that SB and I'm just going to throw in this guy called Hunter threw at Matt to see, it shows how amazing this community is. Absolutely. Huge shout out 100%. To those guys.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Matt putting that together and just posting on social media that he's going to be following me around. I mean, Brian Warfel, he's been so important to this whole year. Like, he's been my travel partner. He's helped me with maintenance left and right, fixing rods, you name it. Like, he has devoted a lot of time and effort into helping me, and I can't thank him enough for it. Chris Silberti obviously was out there, and I mean, he let me borrow the Phoenix for both weekends because I blew the hub on the Ranger. Like, everything he's done this season. Enzo, one of the homies, was out there all day. Dan Weber was there. Matt and Hunter. Other buddy Jeff Whitner and his girlfriend came out. Josh Miller and Matt Hollins, our Wednesday night buddies, who've been really close for the last couple of years. Like, all the guys that came out, like, really made it feel special. It kind of made the whole thing come together, and it was awesome. I was super grateful.
So maybe it's because I probably might be schizophrenic. That would have been a lot of pressure if I had a bunch of bows following me, cheering me on for the first time. Like, fuck, like I don't want to mess up in front of them. Did you have, like, where was your head at day 3?
Honestly, I was nervous before they got there. Like, I was fishing the area. I texted them where I was going, whatever, and they pulled up. And I won't say it helped me, but it did in a way where it kind of made me lock in. Like, I wanted to, like, do well because they were there. Mm-hmm. And I just got, like, super focused. It didn't distract me with them around at all. They weren't a nuisance or in the way at all. I did. I got to tell this story, but in the morning at the mat, they were kind of like 50 yards behind me, and I'm doing a circle around the mat. And this kayaker comes with his son, and they fished a duck blind that was near it that I caught some fish on day 3. And they fished that for a second. I was like, go chase him off, just jokingly and whatever. And they keep coming, and I'm going around the mat, and they come literally straight into the mat, like 20 or 30 yards away from me. And I wouldn't have said anything. Like, it's just, I don't believe in the drama. I would have just been like, shot the shit with him, whatever. I wouldn't have said anything. Brian just out of nowhere goes, "Hey!" and just yells at him. I was like, "Dude, relax. It's fine. It's not a big deal." And just talked about him, but it was really funny. And then the guy looks at his son. He's like, "Hey, son, be careful. The guy in the red might eat you." And then we all lost it. It was so funny. That was one of the best moments of the day, honestly, but it was good. But yeah, no, I would say it helped me, honestly, having them follow me around.
And huge shout out to SB's son Hunter for the coverage, dude. That MC announcement thing was funny as hell. It was so good.
Here with Matt McCluskey this morning. A little slower morning than we were hoping. Got around 12 pounds, give or take. He's fishing clean though. We've missed a few key bites, but he's grinding away. We're confident in our boy. We're just gonna see where this day takes us. We made a little move. We actually walked to the Occoquan Reservoir. He said that's the only place he knows near here to catch a 5-pounder. Did a little lock. Just kidding, MLF. We are still on the Potomac. Made a little move. Looking to make some key upgrades in the next hour. Nothing but confidence in our boy. So let's see what he can do. What do we got? Well, we caught one a little bit bigger than our smallest fish, but we got a catfish. Here we are. As you can see, got a little bit of a flotilla going. We've upgraded from a couple creepy followers to a bit of a flotilla. So got the boys out here supporting our boy out on here in the Potomac. I'm feeling an upgrade coming soon.
Boom, baby!
Woo!
Yeah!
Go! Looks about like we just got a 4-pound upgrade in the well. Boys are all here. We're having a good time. Vibes are up. Maddie's killing it. Long way to go still. We're not at the finish line, but we're closing in. As you can see, Matt and I got it done today. We had a great day. Biggest bag of the week for you. It's got to feel good. We had the flotilla out there. All the boys were rallying. Good day. Congrats, buddy.
I owe it all to you, man. It was funny. That was so funny. When I got back to the ramp, I was like, "Oh, I gotta watch all these." And I spent like 10 minutes just going scrolling through Instagram.
Well, did you have any kind of starstruck thing being in that lineup on day 3 with all those people?
A little bit. I mean, it was just cool being around them. Like Emil Wagner, Mike Iaconelli, Brian Schmidt. Like we were all sitting at the tanks talking to each other because Mark takes his time. He does what he's supposed to when you're weighing in. Like he just does the interview well, asks you who you want to thank, all that and stuff. So it takes a little while getting through weigh-in on day 3. But yeah, it was cool just hanging out with them and like talking to them and just kind of be personable with them instead of just like seeing them from watching Bass Live or whatever. Is like, oh, that's cool. I got to actually meet you in real life and talk to you for a minute. So.
All right, guys, back to the questions here. We got, here we go. We got Matt again. Matt, I got to get you on the show at some point, dude. 4-pounders aren't a real thing this summer/fall on the lower. It's been spotty, to say the least. It's interesting.
I think that was the one I caught on day 2 was probably the 3rd or 4th 4-pounder I've caught out there all year.
Yeah. And based when the BPT was here, like there wasn't a lot of 4-pounders caught there, like a shit ton of 3s. So it's weird.
I don't know what's going on with the big fish. It's kind of like that at Fountainhead right now. There's only been like 1 7-pounder weighed in the tournaments all year. And last year there was like 10.
Yeah. And they haven't died off. So it has to do with the weather. The weather was so wonky this year that I think it really threw them for a loop. Because I don't know if it was you or somebody else I talked to that said like the topwater bite's just been generically off in our region this year compared to last year. And that has to be because of the weather, if that's true.
Yeah. I don't know what's causing it, but.
Let's see. We got, all right, Mark Seal. Mark, you just want a gift card to Jake's Bait and Tackle. You can message me Instagram, Facebook, or email me fishingthedmv@gmail.com to reclaim it. If someone was wanting to get into tournament fishing, what would you tell them?
Find a club. Honestly, find the closest club that you can that's around you on whatever body of water it is, or find one that you like to fish on a certain body of water and just get comfortable fishing that level of tournaments before you jump into the higher level stuff, and just kind of get your feet wet and find out what you like to fish and how you like to fish, and then kind of go from there.
Wise words. There you guys go. We got tricked John Boats, tricked out tens. Matt over there. He says, "What up and congrats, Matt, on the big win." He's over on Instagram. Guys, I can't share your stuff on
Appreciate
Instagram,
you,
just
bro.
to let you know. We got another question here on Instagram. What would you do different if you had to redo the tournament?
It's kind of hard to say, but I mean, fish certain things that I fished that I may have not gotten good bites on, because pretty much everywhere I stopped, I got bites, but there may have been places that I fished where I caught 1.5-pounders instead of 2.5-pounders. Maybe try them on different tides. My starting spot on day 1 and 2, I didn't catch a fish until like after 9 or 9:30 on days 1 and 2. So it was kind of like, I wish I had picked better starting spots on days 1 and 2. Maybe I could have gotten a key bite on a frog or some kind of topwater, or whatever it was. Just picking somewhere else to start the tournament on days 1 and 2 would be my biggest thing. But on day 3, it was like the area around the mat, I had a limit at 8:30. It wasn't fishing the mat until the sun came up and the tide started moving decently. But in that area, I caught 12 pounds. Basically, I think I had 3 fish before the convoy or armada of friends showed up at like 8 o'clock. So
Yeah, and it's like, how much of it is execution versus where you started? It's like, do you just keep doing, run the same thing but execute better? You know,
yeah, throw a different bait or something. I don't know, but yeah, definitely starting spot was the one thing that kind of I won't say messed me up, because I had an awesome finish, but it definitely it could have helped me if I had an area I felt like I could have started on.
Yeah. Ang here. Any advice for early October James River fishing?
Anybody in the comments wants to throw any, because I got a big tournament out there next weekend. No, I wish I could help you there. Honestly, I have not much information on the James.
You got James proper, and then you got the Chick, and you got to treat them like 2 different ecosystems. So do you mean like the James River proper, or you mean the Chick in general? Because again, 2 different fisheries. I would just also just camp. Don't be these idiots that try to do milk runs.
Yeah.
There's like 5 people on the planet that can do this successfully. So pick an area.
That's definitely my plan, is to find. I'm going to obviously cover a decent amount of water in practice, but I feel like if I can find 2 areas I can milk, because the tournament's only 2 days, then it should be somewhat productive.
Yeah. Let's see. We got another one.
I gotta turn my truck on. I'm cooking.
Yeah, turn it on while I get this question right out. Bruce, we got Bass Fishing Like Anna says, the weather has been a huge impact on fishing this year. I agree with you. The topwater bite has been horrible. Congrats, man, on the big finish. Yeah, dude, it's weird. But the spinner bait's also been good, too. It's just going these cycles, man. We do. That's what happens.
Every year it seems to be different.
Is the res down this year in general? Or do you think the fish catching is still good, just not the big dogs?
Yeah, it seems to be like the big fish just haven't showed up. I mean, there's still so many 3+ pounders getting caught. It's still amazing, but it's just those giant fish, the 7s and 8s, that obviously in the springtime it's a lot better. And there was still even the 7s in the springtime, like Victor, when he broke the record, I don't even think he had one over 7. I think they were all just 6-pounders, but it was just, they just didn't show up like they normally do in the pre-spawn. I didn't spend as much time out there this year as I have in the past, but that's even for the tournaments. Like usually there's a 7-pounder weighed in one every 2-3 tournaments in the summertime. Just one. It's not like a bunch of them, but it never happened this year.
That's wild, man. That is interesting. I wonder why that actually happened.
I hope they didn't die.
They didn't die. Everyone's been saying that about the lakes and the tidal rivers in general. Smallmouth rivers have been on fire this year. And I think it's because it's got all that colored water to it earlier in the year. But yeah, like the tidal places have just been off. I mean, all the tournaments in the spring, half of them got on the Potomac were like blown out. There's so much crap in the water from all the rain. So that's a wash. The James was not 100%. So yeah, I definitely think that there's something to that there. Let's see. Got another question here. We got Josh Evans. Has the grass finally grown in on Mattawoman? I've fished it 4 times this season so far, and every time the grass just wasn't there, presumably because of the weird weather. Yeah, it's
never showed up. Wasn't there in the tournament. Just on the banks. I mean, there's grass 10, 15 feet off the bank, but other than that, there's no grass. Like normally straight across from Smallwood's just a huge grass mat this time of year, and there's literally not a blade.
Yeah, and I wonder if that has to do with the weather, if there is some kind of runoff going down from construction, or if they're spraying. I've had multiple people message me saying that they're spraying different places on the Potomac, and if that's true, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. But yeah, homeowners will do whatever they want. Look at Lake Anna; they're gonna f that place to hell with all the spraying they're gonna be doing there. Depressing topic. Let's pivot here to. Holy Christ! I cannot say that name. My dyslexic brain.
He's probably watching. I did not know that. He did not share this information with me. That's sweet. So that still exists.
Hudgens caught a 7-pounder in the res last Sunday. Okay, cool.
That's Enzo.
Oh, it's Enzo. Okay.
Enzo's the one who commented. Hudgens is the local legend of the res.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, Enzo, get a better username for my poor ass. Joshua Evans, the lack of grass has been insane this year on the Potomac, and it shows. This is why the fishing's down. When the grass dies back, you're going to have a poor fishery in general. That's just yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but I mean, the fact that the river froze for like a month in January might have had something to do with it, but that's what I say. I don't know exactly what did it, but
100%, because like hydrilla, from the people I've talked to, it starts growing last and it'll start growing in, versus milfoil, coontail, stuff like that. That'll grow first. And you have a big ice like that, it tears it all out. So I think that's good logic. It makes sense. We got Joshua Torres in Instagram. No, Matt Woman hasn't. It's been empty. Just blown mats around the shore. Yeah, there's same old mats. People are fishing as well. Yeah, no shock there. Last year, the grass was way better. A lot of just comments about the grass and everything. We got here a couple more questions. If you had 3 baits to use on the tidal Potomac River in the fall, what would they be?
Depends what the grass is like, but I mean, I would love to say a frog, but I can't catch them on it. So you probably can, whoever commented that. A frog, probably. I mean, a drop shot, if you can find a mat and are confident in doing it, mat flipping. Swim jig has worked really good for us traditionally in the fall.
Yeah, it's a pick your poison on the blade jig, the swim jig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would throw out just a regular jig too. Crankbait if it's just going to have no grass. I mean, it's just pick your poison. It's meat and potatoes fishing, generally speaking. It's just you got to be in the right area at the right time.
Just depends on the area you're fishing. If you're fishing hard structure, shaky head jig and a crankbait, and grass swim jig, maybe a little shallow diving crankbait, chatterbait. Buzzbait works really good this time of year too.
Buzzbait's good. Whopper ploppers kind of died for largemouth fishing. I haven't heard a single person talk about that for the largemouth crowd.
I need to get good at throwing it because I've had 2 co-anglers this year. I'm like, I never throw a whopper plopper. Throws the whopper plopper behind me and is just getting destroyed. I'm like, well, I need to start throwing the whopper plopper more.
I have no confidence in it. I mean, even in the smallmouth derby that I was in, like a couple guys killed it on a plopper, and I fished it in practice and I caught one. I was like, F this. I'm not gonna deal with this in the tournament. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just stupid. It's like a bait you throw out there and just reel back, and I have no confidence in it. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Josh Torres, swim jig, drop shot, punching, Texas rig chatterbait. Yep. Let's see. I thought the regional on the James is 3 days. No, it's 2 days.
They changed it. 2 days now. They changed it. And it's entry. Used to be no entry fee. Now it's entry fee. I was sitting there rigging rods on Thursday or Friday before the Toyota, just sitting in the boat, and MLF sends me a text message. It's like, you need to register and pay your entry fee to the regional. I was like, what?
They got to pay Jacob Wheeler's salary. Come on.
I know.
Let's see, guys. I'm going to scroll right through here, make sure I got all of your questions answered. We got that one about the flipping stick done. We got that about the flipping. Okay, cool. Oh, here we go. Waypoint management ? So I will add to that message. How do you organize your GPS unit when you're dealing with these events with mats and stuff?
I mean, with the river, it's different for me just because I know the river so well. And the mats don't really move. So, and they're visible. So you don't really need to manage your waypoints with them unless you're catching them in like a really long stretch of grass. And you can't really use a visual reference from the bank. Maybe you need to drop a waypoint, but the only time I'm really using waypoints is like the isolated hard structure, or if there's a certain section of grass that you can't see the top of and there's not like a visual representation of where you've been catching them, like I'll drop a waypoint then. But the docks and stuff, it's kind of like, okay, I know where that dock is.
There you have it. Yeah. Pretty straightforward stuff. I kind of makes sense if it's a new body of water, like the St. Lawrence, I guess would be a better example to that guy's question. Like, did you have to do a little bit more management there when you're running, was it 400 miles or whatever the hell it was?
Yeah, it was, I think it was 60 miles one way to my starting spot. But yeah, I mean, just dropping waypoints, it was kind of, I'd use a different icon depending on what it was. Like if it was just a hump that I got a bite on, I'd just put a blue dot on it. But if there was like a boulder, a specific boulder, or a couple of rocks that are grouped together, I'd put a different, like a green icon or like a boulder icon or something like that. But it just depended. I probably dropped 250 waypoints when we were up there for a week.
I would be so terrified to run that for the first time. That is some big water, because I would not want to damage my boat with that stuff. I hear the horror stories that people run into up there.
Yeah, the first day one, I was like, I'm gonna make the run from Messina down to Clayton one day in practice, just so I know how to do it. And day one, I just never did it in practice. I was like, well, I'm gonna follow the leader, and I was like, I'm hoping everybody's going down here. The Garmin mapping is really good, so it definitely helped. But yeah, I just followed people day one, and after that, I was good because I had a line.
That's crazy. All right, got a couple more questions here. We got Scott Sinner. Yo. Hey, congrats on your VA Bass Kayak Nation win, dude. That's awesome.
Congrats.
We got Derek Smith here that says, same, I wasted $100 on different size whopper ploppers to catch nada, gave them all, and those folks caught the crap out of them. Don't hold my mouth right for them. It's
same.
Yeah. It's frustrating as hell because of how simple it is, but it does work. And this is something I was talking to some friends with over the weekend. You just have to go out and practice with those baits and lock them in. Spoiler, I mean, talk about my 10th place finish. Like, yeah, I had to dead drift dice and Helgramite in deeper water. Boring as hell, had to take a sedative, but I had to practice that way to get confidence in it first. And I think that's a lot of people, when you hear us talk, don't just yeet it into a tournament and do it and say it worked or not work. You got to go out, practice with it, get that confidence before you go out there in a tournament and do it. And, unless your name's Mr. McCluskey. Let's see. We got that one done. What is your strategy going forward with I guess you got the BFL Super Tournament, you got the Toyota Championship. Are you making the run? Where the hell is it? Is it Oklahoma? Where the hell is it?
Grand Lake in Oklahoma for the Toyota Series Championship.
Jesus, good Lord. It's
about 18 hours.
When the hell are you going out there for that?
Well, there's a cutoff the week prior to official practice and the tournament, because the tournament starts that Thursday, is off limits. So I'll get off work Friday morning at like 3 a.m. or whatever, and I will boogie back to my dad's place, get the boat, and then me and Brian will leave straight from there. And then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of the week of the tournament is official practice, and then Wednesday's an off day, and then Thursday, Friday, and then hopefully Saturday for the tournament.
How did you how are you going to break a place down for the first time you've never seen before? Do you just do a ride along the whole lake? Do you break it up into sections like Rick Clunn does? Like, do you have a outline that you usually follow?
This is just preemptive game plan, but I kind of, when I put fish reservoirs and stuff, and this has all come from Fountainhead, obviously, but I've seemed to have the most success in like the middle portion of the lake, like where the river mixes with like the main body of water. This is, like I said, Fountainhead, but I've had success with this on Gaston and Bugs Island and stuff like that, and Smith Mountain even. But I'll probably focus most of my time in that mid-river section, but I'm going to do a bunch of map study, deep dive app, see what the water clarity looks like, stuff like that. Just do as much research as I can before I get there.
There you have it. Got 2 more questions here. Got let me know if you want in on those BFS secrets. Yeah, dude, just hit me up, message me, and I can get you in the rotation, dude. For stuff. I am so backlogged on episodes. I think I have like 20 episodes that I have not dropped yet, and I gotta blow them out there so I can get up to the fall stuff. So yeah, hit me up. Upper and mid lake wins most tournaments statistically, but that's also based on the time of year. Always keep that in mind too, because if all the tournaments are a certain time of year, of course it's going to win. Because like Lake Murray, like it's always down lake. Generally speaking, that's when the blueback spawn. It's going to be down lake. So again, anyway, don't want to take us over. You're right. 100% there. Okay. God, I think, oh my God, we got all caught up. No, we got one more. Where are you, Big D? I saw your question there. Yeah, I know it sounds like every fisherman ever, but if the college series was a one day before, I would have won. Dude, I got your message earlier. I'm going to get you and your partner on the show too. I need a goddamn secretary. Everyone will get on the show. So just message me and keep me up to date there.
I hope you weren't setting the hook on them the day before.
Dude, do you practice the day before?
Yes.
Do you whack them or what do you do?
Absolutely not. Because they're not biting 2 days in a row if you put a hook through their face. You got it. Like if you fish the day before, like 2 days before, even like 3 days is kind of okay, but I'm still not going to lean on him. But the day before, I mean, if he bites, unless it's like a treble hook bait or something, I haven't taken the hooks off. Like I'm going to maybe sacrifice 1 or 2, but other than that, I'm going to try and shake him off.
That's kind of like why I like the swim jig versus the chatterbait. Is I feel like with the chatterbait, it's a lot harder for me to shake off versus a swim jig bite. You can kind of pull it out of their mouth.
As soon as they bite, just open your bail and just let them take as much line as possible and pray. But sometimes it's hard, man, because I can't tell you how many times like I pull the trigger way too fast in the tournament when I'm actually setting the hook. But in practice, I'll sit there and they'll bite it, and I'll be like, okay, spit it out. And they'll do like a lap around the boat and just never spit it out. And I'm like, you're not even hooked. Like, let go. So it's like in the tournament, I'm like, maybe I should give myself like another second or 2 before I lean on them.
It really did teach me a lot about hook setting when I started practicing in practice, like pulling it out of their mouth. I think this really happened in college when I did the tournaments. And you realize, like, Jesus Christ, when they hit it, it's really hard to shake them off because they'll hold on to it. And you can give yourself... Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you just get revved up on Adderall and Red Bull, and yeah, you just got to smoke them, which I completely... Excited. Yeah, I completely understand. Dude, I really appreciate it. You taking so much time out of your busy schedule right now to come on. Is there anything I can promote for you or anyone you give a shout out to again?
Yeah, I mean, like I talked about the Reaction Innovations. It's kind of the first time somebody's ever reached out to me and was like, hey, we really appreciate you using our product. They did the whole top 10 interview thing and they talked about it. And there's a picture of me holding up a beaver, and the owner of Reaction Innovations actually reached out to me and they want to help me out for these next couple of tournaments. So I want to thank them. And I mean, like I thanked all the guys for coming and following me around. I appreciate you obviously giving me a platform to kind of talk about this stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just happy to be in this position. So thank you.
Yeah. And I'm glad, you definitely, when you win one, I will be there on the water and I won't have a stupid family vacation getting in the way. So that was like, I told my wife before, and there's no way he's gonna be in the top 10. It's like, son of a bitch, we got to get up the road.
I know. I was like, oh man, Tom, I even brought it up to the guys. I was like, Thomas isn't here.
But yeah, huge shout out to Hunter and SB and everything for that. That was freaking awesome to have the hometown there for you guys. Guys, as always, I'll leave this up for another hour or 2 before I take it down. Check it on YouTube and it'll be uploaded again tomorrow. Please go follow him. I put in the episode description his YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Go check him out as he gets through his exploits. What is the next big tournament you have on the docket, sir?
The regional on the James River for the BFLs.
Okay, cool. So yeah,
I got a wedding this weekend, driving home, grabbing the boat, driving straight to the James, starting practice next week.
Oh Lord, dude, your wedding?
No, my cousin's wedding.
Oh, okay, good. Hold off on that as long as you can. All right, guys, go give them a follow. And then, yeah, if you want to be interviewed or whatever, please just message me and harass me so I can get it back on the docket since I'm kind of overwhelmed right now. And yeah, we will see you guys next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye. You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.